Hey everybody, it's Wednesday and we're on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer to talk about the markets. And Jim, the Dow is up, S&P 500, Russell are sort of flat. What's your take
Right,
here?
I mean, there's a lot of controversy on Twitter at Jim Cramer right now that when I say that the breadth isn't that good, I'm obviously not focused because the Russell 2000 is good, and when I come back and say no, and the Nasdaq's good, obviously. My point is that you need these big segments of the S&P, whether it be finance or healthcare, staples maybe, transports. You need them doing well, and they're not, and that it's not a healthy market until they do. Now you could say, well, what if don't you want to wait to see if they do? And all I'm saying is that you have to be a little more circumspect than you would if there's if the transports were going up or if the healthcares were going up. My favorite two groups to go up are not tech and retail, they're the financials and the transports, because that's often a sign of commerce, and we don't have it yet.
And we'll probably get that rate hike next week, good for the banks.
But that would be, but I think it's kind of built in, Scott.
All right, meanwhile, Jim, this morning in Real Money, you talk about the cruise stocks and how even though millennials are interested, it may not matter for the company's stock.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things I talk about timeshares, talk about hotels, talk about RVs. One of the things that people have to recognize is just because you have millennials that are using product, which therefore means that it's not a dying industry, that doesn't mean it can necessarily, let's say, trump, so to speak, what's going on in the rest of the industries. And I think that if there's more ships coming on than the CEOs are willing to, let's say, that the CEOs are less worried than they should be, and obviously oil prices going up, there is a sense that perhaps ticket pricing not that strong. You end up with a scenario which just says, yes, millennials are there, but that doesn't mean necessarily you should scoop up and buy them. Millennials like to travel, doesn't mean you should go buy Delta on a pre-announcement. Although I do have to say that every time the airlines pre-announce or say something negative, they all go down, and at a certain point they're going to stop going down, and that's when you buy the airlines.
Are the airlines also worried about higher oil prices? We're seeing those stocks get hit.
Yes, those are they're up substantially, the oil prices.
Okay, Jim, you spoke to the incoming and outgoing CEOs of Palo Alto Networks last night.
I mean, there's a situation that I just feel great about. Nikesh Arora that was just a huge coup to get him. He was amazing at Google, did some fabulous work at SoftBank. Mark McLaughlin leaving the company terrifically. He did gave a forecast that people didn't like, but that's been his way. So I think people should study Mark's incredible success. Mark has done such a great job, and what I would point out here is that Mark is moving the company from being what I regard as being a niche product to being a broad platform. And if you're going to do that and start having other companies adopt the platform, you need the cash. So what a fabulous transition. And if you're worried, as much as you like Mark as I do, I think the cash will do a fabulous job.
In terms of cybersecurity stocks, where does Palo Alto Networks rank?
Palo Alto is number 2 after Proofpoint.
Yes, you talked about Proofpoint a lot in email.
Gary Steele has done a fantastic job. Yes, and email security is the weak link in cloud. And Gary also does some fabulous. This Wombat acquisition makes it so that you can self-test, basically find out where your weaknesses are without having to have another firm hack you and you try to hack them, which is what they do now.
Barclays upgrading Valeant. What do you make of their $29 price target?
I think it's very right. I mean, Joe Papa, when he came in low teens, I was tough on him, but I felt that he acquitted himself very well. Ever since then, it's been a fabulous stock, and I think that he was on recently again, reiterating that he cleaned up the balance sheet on the near-term debt issues. This is the change to Bausch Health. The report talks about Bausch being unsung in its greatness. It talks about the dermatology franchise being really, really great, and Joe's leadership being extraordinary. He has cleaned up a lot of the worries, and he's done a good job.
And Jim, give us a preview of Mad Money tonight.
Well, I've got Steve Mollenkopf, which is someone, by the way, I have it tomorrow at my deal conference on corporate governance. Qualcomm has been in the doldrums, but maybe it's time. It could be time, and we're going to talk more about the earnings profile today and more about the corporate governance issues tomorrow at the conference. And then we've got, Marcus Lemonis. talk about Camping World. The stock has been weak. This is strictly in response to a viewer who said, what is going on with Camping World? And I'm going to give Marcus the floor and find out what is going on in Campus World and why Camping World and why the stock is down. In my piece this morning in Real Money, I referenced glamping. Yeah. I talk about how it's millennials like to camp, and it does seem like that there's something wrong. We got to get to the bottom of it.
And your daughter did a cross-country glamping trip, right?
She did a glamping trip with a tent on top of her Subaru. It lasted a very long time, and she went around the country and just checked out all the treehouse hotels too. But it was a remarkable trip, and Emma learned a great deal. She's fabulous on Instagram.
All right, Jim, we'll be watching tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern on Mad Money. And everyone, Jim and I are going to continue talking about stocks. Please join us on ActionAlertsPlus.com.